Well, now it's time for Crockett to counter-program a WWF pay-per-view, and they're going to do it against the WWF's biggest one, WrestleMania. Here we are. It's March 27th, 1988, and we're at the Greensboro Coliseum for the Clash of the Champions. Tony, after a smaller house in Chicago for Starrcade and a really small house for Bunkhouse Stampede in New York, you guys are back to the birthplace of Starrcade for Clash of the Champions, Greensboro. Who made the call to bring the big show back to Greensboro?
That was a Crockett call. That was them saying, okay, we are going to counterpunch WrestleMania, and we're going to do it the very best way we can. And where would that be besides the Greensboro Coliseum, which is basically the heart and soul of Jim Crocket Promotions? Crockett Promotions, I guess some could say that Charlotte was, because that was, and Charlotte eventually became that, because that was the home of Jim Crocket Promotions. But the Charlotte Coliseum back then was much smaller than the Greensboro Coliseum. Greensboro was always the biggest venue in the Mid-Atlantic area. And they always did well, always had their biggest shows in the Greensboro Coliseum. So that was Jimmy Crockett's call right there to if we are going to really punch back, we're going to punch back in a place where we know we will get a lot of fans and great reaction, which they did.
Yeah, I've always found it curious as someone who, admittedly doesn't know a lot about, the state of North Carolina, geographically. Why was Greensboro the smart play for the big shows? It seemed like to me, if you're going to not be in Charlotte, maybe try Baltimore, which you guys ran a lot of shows in and were very successful for a long time. But I think you just answered it right there. Greensboro had a bigger arena. So even though they weren't the bigger town, didn't have more people necessarily, they had more opportunity for more butts and seats because there were more seats.
You had to use that term, didn't you motherfucker? Butts in seats.
You like that?
When the hell are we going to
block me, motherfucker? Just block me. Block me. Get it over with.
I'm blocking your ass. The Greensboro, look, on a perception level, if you're saying that we are coming with the Clash of the Champions in Los Angeles or in San Francisco or in Chicago, the big markets, everyone says wow, but what does that get you in the long run? Because you got to move everybody out there. You're going to have a smaller arena because if you're in Chicago or if you're in San Francisco at that time, you're not going to be able to run the Cow Palace. You're going to have to run the San Francisco Auditorium downtown or whatever that place was. So expense-wise, it was smart. It was smart because it was the heart of Jim Crocket Promotions. Again, it was a business decision as far as being able to recoup some of the monies that we were going to spend for putting that event on. That was smart. It was a smart decision. I think Greensboro was always a smart decision. Greensboro, now, I can tell you this. I know the ACC is much more of a nationwide conference now, but that was always the home of the ACC basketball tournament, and that place was always a big deal, and big deal on a national level too, much more now than it used to be. I'm saying that Greensboro Coliseum, and I know I'm a redneck from the South, but to me, Greensboro Coliseum was always one of the great venues in pro wrestling. I don't know if fans nationwide knew that, but damn it, I knew it. It put butts in the seats, Conrad.
I like it. Do you think that, making the decision to come back to Greensboro here is a little bit of a tail-tucking move after this national expansion has seemingly flopped? San Francisco didn't draw great, Chicago didn't draw great, New York didn't draw great. Is this getting back to their roots? Is it tucking tail? Or is it just a good business decision?
I don't remember San Francisco and Los Angeles and some of those towns not drawing well. I went out on a tour with Jim Crocket Promotions to Las Cruces, New Mexico, Albuquerque at the Tingley Coliseum. We went to the Forum in Los Angeles, and we went to San Francisco in the San Francisco, again, the auditorium downtown. And we had fantastic crowds everywhere. They had me go as the ring announcer. And aside from Barry Windham getting me drunk on my ass, I remember that those places did well. So I'm not so sure that you saying that we did not do well in those towns, because I thought we did. Now, I know we ran in Chicago, we ran the UIC Pavilion, and it was perceived that we did not get the big venues with the exception of the Forum in Los Angeles. But I thought we did quite well out there. And I'm talking house shows now.
Yeah.
We did quite well out there. So, but I don't know. I don't think it's a sign that we were
tucking
our tail between our legs type thing. I think it was a thing that we wanted that show to look and feel exciting, and Greensboro was the best place to do it.
Greensboro is also notable for having a young Bruce Mitchell, who now writes for The Torch, and a group of his friends. They used to sit in the front row and wear suits and ties. Do you remember those guys?
Sure do. As a matter of fact, I would always talk to Bruce because he had a profound respect for the business. I think he was ahead of his time. Because if you'll recall that Clash of the Champions show, they held up they all dressed up like Cornette, remember?
Yep.
And they all held up those signs for Cornette. So they were fans of the heels in a market that was very much babyface fans. Babyface fans back then had a lot of females.
Yeah.
And now you're starting to move into the era of the fanboy, to where they're cheering for the heels. They're cool. They hold up signs. They're part of the show. I think he was the start of that.
There you go. Dusty says,
there you go, Bruce. You are the grandpappy of fanboys.
Or as Bruce Pritchard likes to say, the Greensboro jackoff.
Isn't it something how I have a different perception of people than Bruce does?
Well, Bruce hates everyone. You just block them. He hates them outwardly.
He hates them outright. Well, we both love you, though, Conrad, I think, don't we?
Right now.
At least right now. This one's not even half over, and I still feel very good about you. But we'll see. Go ahead.